Welcome back to Armored Academy of Arizona. We've got our Friday breakdown. As a quick reminder, if you subscribe to the channel, you get the notification for Tuesday when the next one comes up. Real quick, we're going to go through this short round. It's a little 2-on-2 here. Today, over at the bottom of the screen, we've got Belinda and we've got me, Rick. Over here, we got Pike. And we have Bam Bam, which some of you may recall Bam Bam from the show Night Fight. Used to be on History Channel. He was actually the winner of that show. So he's been in armored combat since it was available to be in. He's quite seasoned. So to set it up, we've got a 2-on-2. This round has already begun a little bit, maybe a second ago. So what's happening as we start here is Belinda is going straight down the rail, and Pike and Bill have begun moving forward, but they haven't been as aggressive as Belinda. Belinda's going fast, and I'm keeping up with her, so here we go. Alright, so right away I cut across. I just want to point something out here. This is a small list. This is only 10 feet wide. But I just want to point out that even though it's only 10 feet wide, there's quite a bit of space here between Bill and Pike, which gives me the ability to shoot this gap. So as you're lining up, you want to be about 2 steps away from your buddy if you're going to cover your buddy. Now, I don't know what their strategy was. Maybe they were intending for Pike to handle both of us while Bill comes in behind. That would be a good strategy. That might be what they were going for. But the reason I was able to shoot through here and get right by Bill was because they're so far apart. So that's a thing to consider. So I hit him pretty hard, but it didn't really do anything. You know, the armor's really good, the helmet's really good, the list was right there to support him as I came in and hit. So all I really accomplished was getting his attention off of Belinda. Now, Bill, you know, he took a swipe at me as I went by, but I was already past, so he just changed his strategy and he came up on Belinda right away, which is a good idea. So Belinda's effectively in a 2-on-1. She's got Pike over here, she's got Bill over here. Now Pike is also on a 2-on-1. I'm back here, Belinda's here, so we've got 2-on-1s going at the same time. The important thing if you're in a 2-on-1 and you're between the 2 people is, first of all, get to a point of safety where you're not about to get thrown if you can. And the second thing is get out of there. So, you know, one thing Belinda could do in this situation, and I don't believe she does it here, but because she's so much shorter than Bill, or Bam Bam, what she could do is she could shove her elbow right here in his hip hinge. By doing that, it removes all of his ability to really use this leg. He would not be able to take a step with that leg. Furthermore, she could drive him. Now, I don't, you know, from here, this angle, I can't really see what Pike's doing. He may have a hold of her in such a way that she can't do that. But it's, you know, that's something to consider. If you find yourself with your opponent with an overhook like this, instead of reaching around their body or over their head, which is what we see most of the time, and certainly I'm guilty of it too, instead of doing that, just sink your elbow right into their hip hinge right here. And that will force them to squat down, essentially, and put all their weight on that leg. It pretty much shuts down a lot of the grappling. So let's take a look what happens next. Come on, play. All right. You can tell we trained together, right? I mean, they went down together. So taking a look back here, it looks like both of us, both Bam Bam and I, you can kind of see I've got a leg here, and Bam Bam's got his leg there. So what we did is we put our legs in front of their legs and then pulled them off balance over the legs so they trip. And down they go together. So also they were hanging on to each other, so that would definitely affect this in some regard. So because they are hanging on to each other, as one goes down, that makes it easier for the other one to go down as well. So now it's Bill and I. Let's take a look. Alright, so you can see here Bill's got this overhook, and he's got a little bit of an underhook here, but not too much. So what I've done is dug my elbow into the top of his elbow to make it so that he doesn't have much leverage with this arm, and also it creates space between us. It's harder for him to throw if he has space between him and whoever his target is, in this case me. He also has this arm around my head pretty well. That gives him a lot of control over my body. Where the head goes, the body follows. So as long as he has this overhook, that is pretty good control over me. So what I've done is I've taken my gauntlet and my little punch shield thing there, the little buckler, and I have shoved it into his elbow, and I am cranking his whole body this way, and so that I can slip my head out under his armpit that way. And that's how I'm going to escape this. And there I am. So I'm out, I take a swing. And I mean, this is what Bam Bam's known for, these punches. These are hard punches. Alright, so he punches me, and, you know, to get me to react, which I did. Like I said, they're hard punches. And he uses that to get a hold of my elbow and a hold of my head. Now, this is exactly what he did before, but on the other side. So earlier, after we threw these two people, he had a hold of me in the same configuration, but on the other side. So now he's got a hold of my gauntlet down here, and he's got a hold of my head, and he's getting ready to put this foot in front and pivot on this foot so that he can throw me over that leg. So what I did is I shuffled my feet this way. So I know he wants me to spin this direction, and I know I'm not going to resist. He needs me to resist. If I resist, then he would be able to pull my body off center, offline, essentially break my structure, and I would end up going down on the ground. So rather than go on the ground, what I did was I shuffled my feet in a circle around him. Watch that one more time. Yeah. So I'm shuffling around him, which prevents him from going anywhere, and you can see that I am angling him towards the bodies. So we get here, we get in front of the bodies. So what I do is you can see me stomp this leg out. So I take a big step, I stomp out, and then I push. So let's watch it one more time. And that makes him go over the bodies. Now, if the bodies weren't there, he would have simply stepped and caught himself. It wouldn't have had this effect. But because the bodies were there, they're part of the terrain. They're a very viable thing to use in a melee, and I did. So I hope you found this helpful, insightful, maybe help with your training or get you excited about Buhurt. Definitely come check us out if you're in the Arizona area. We're out in Mesa, and we'll see you on Tuesday with the next video. Don't miss it. Be sure to subscribe.